All right, all right. Hello, everybody. Welcome to another edition of Crypto Cowboy Show. All right, let's get right on into it today. All right, so what's the status of Bitcoin? What's going on? Well, they think it could hit six figures soon. I think that's still pretty likely. Well, let's find out what's going on here today. So let's see. We got the bubbles today. Let's take a look here. What are the bubbles saying? Oh yeah, it's looking good today. Looking good today. What do we got? We got Beam, Hex, Popcat. Don't know what that is. Interesting. And yeah, we got a lot of green today. And for the week, not bad this week. Not bad. Again for the month, not great, but things are looking better. Things are looking better. I like it. All right, let's go. Let's keep going. All right, fear and greed still 37. People are still fearful. I think until rate cuts happen, that's what we're going to be seeing. That's what we're going to be seeing. All right, so yeah, the odds are there is another. There we go. Odds are there's another 25 basis points that are going to be cut coming up this week, I think. Yeah, I think it's this week. And I think that's going to soften up markets. I think we're maybe going to hit this soft landing. I don't know. I think we're in a recession, and the question is it going to go deeper and harder? The Fed's coming in here with rate cuts and liquidity. And M2 liquidity across the board in the global is going to be going up. So they could land this soft landing. We're gonna have to see. We're gonna have to see. Again, there's all this news about the CPI numbers coming in, that they looked okay. I don't care about the CPI numbers. It's all bogus anyways. The markets do react to those stupid CPI numbers, even though the Fed just cooks them any way that makes it look better. So I don't really put too much into that, but the Fed is going to make decisions based upon that number. They get to pick because they're the government. And so they're going to lower basis points, lower interest rates or not based on those numbers. But as you and I know, as savvy investors, we know that the inflation rate and the cost of money debasement is much higher, 10, 12, 14% sometimes. So we've got to be in assets that beat that on a regular basis. So yeah, this is kind of minutia that we're going to go over here, just talking about the markets, but overall, we're long-term investors, and we look to get into the highest returning assets that are going to earn us this high return over the long term. Mid to long term, anywhere from 3 to 5 years to 10 years or plus is what I'm advocating. So let's see what else we got here. It says, yeah, so here's the thing. People believe that, yeah, if Harris wins the election, that it could drop short-term the markets, certainly Bitcoin. If Trump wins, the markets look like they may have a short-term bump up. But again, I don't think that crypto, for sure, markets really care one way or the other. Again, we're looking at a long term here. We're hoping that we can get to six figures by the end of the year. We'll see. It might be close, but I think after rate cuts happen, we're going to start seeing it gradually go up. I think after the election, whether we get a little bump up or a bump down, then we'll start to see by the end of the year, I think last month and then into next year, we'll see the steady growth because we've still got a lot of tailwinds in crypto. So what else are we talking here? I think that's all for this slide. All right, let's go down here. What do we got here today? So this was interesting. I wanted to bring this up. So the creator of Telegram and the Ton coin, cryptocurrency coin, Pavel Durov, he was jailed in France, right? So this was about 2 weeks ago. So I don't know if you saw this, but it's kind of a big deal because Telegram is this app that proposes free speech. It has encryption end to end on your messages. And so last month he was charged in France, and it says that his company had a failure to make a declaration about the encryption in the Telegram application and failure to declare that it had imported encryption technology. This is such bogus. Imported? What are you talking about? This is part of the Telegram software, and if they happen to use it in France, they happen to download the app and use it in France. It's not like he's importing a encryption technology, but again, this is French law, and it's kind of crazy. But what I wanted to bring out here is that it's not a license, it's just a declaration. That's what they have to do to be in France. You basically have to just declare it. You don't have to have them license it or anything. But basically, there's been no other charges filed against him. And what they're saying is that this is a general image of encryption in France that helps bad people. That's what France's point is. An increasing amount of traffic on the internet is encrypted, and to say you have to register to offer encrypted services seems very strange. This is coming from Greg Nojum, Senior Counsel at the Center for Democracy and Technology. So I don't know. The way I look at it is this guy points it out in this article. Without the keys, encrypted data is just gobbledygook. So that is free speech, and we should have the option that we don't want good guys or bad guys peering into our messages. I get it that the bad guys are going to be trying to use this, and it's part of it. It's an interesting debate because, yeah, I don't like the bad guys using encryption to do bad things, and yet I want the freedom to not have prying eyes, including governments, in what I'm looking at. So bottom line is, when consumers have the option for end-to-end encryption, it preserves their privacy against the platform as well as the state from looking in. When law enforcement chills privacy, entrepreneurship, that's also a victory for surveillance capitalism. So again, we've got big companies that know all of our data inside and out, like Facebook and Apple and Google. And you have companies like Facebook, who owns WhatsApp, that has end-to-end encryption, and Telegram has end-to-end encryption. I'm all for the freedom of having to be able to move my money, do what I want with my money, and my messages too. I don't want to be clamped down, by governments. I want entrepreneurs to be able to come up with the best technology. And, if the governments need to work it out, like France does with the owners, okay. And in the case of France, where they said, look, you just have to register it, I'm not sure why he wouldn't do that, but Pavel was really big trying to show his community that he's really stands for privacy, and he doesn't want to cave on that. So we'll see what happens with that case. I thought it was important to put out there. So, all right, another interesting point here is that these betting markets. So you now can bet in crypto, at least outside of the U.S., I believe. You can bet on elections. You can bet on anything now. This Poly market is a cryptocurrency platform where you can bet on just about anything in the world, including elections. And there's lots of people that really believe that rather than polls, these betting services have much more realistic showing who's going to win or lose in these. Because if you're putting your money on there, it's a little bit more reliable, I think, than somebody just filling out a survey. So I don't know. I like the idea of having, again, that be an option. So why does it matter? Well, at stake is the ability for the public to profit from election outcomes. I personally wouldn't do that. It's not really my thing, but I do like the option of being able to do it, and I also like the prediction from it. When people are putting their money on an outcome, I just think that's a better predictor of what an outcome is going to be. So Polymarket, this cryptocurrency, has already seen hundreds of millions of dollars bet on U.S. politics this year. I think it's kind of interesting. So what they're saying is election markets places where users can bet on the outcome of elections could potentially be used in ways that would have an adverse effect on election integrity. This was a motion filed Friday by the Commodities Futures and Trading Commission. So it's interesting. So the CFTC said it could undermine confidence in elections. So this is Axios. They're saying this guy grew up in the UK where betting on election outcomes has been legal for a while now. And no one believes that those bets are undermining anything. So that's an interesting perspective. I kind of like that. It says the agency has forbidden Kalshi, which is this company that is offering these betting on elections, would control betting on which party would control Congress in 2025 started and then challenged the agency's authority to do so. A judge then issued her opinion, or she said she has not issued her opinion, but but a court did grant them an emergency stay, so they can still operate their business. So we're going to see, apparently Thursday morning. This is being taped on Thursday. There's another hearing scheduled on this matter, so we'll see what happens. Since Polymarket is blockchain-based, users need to get cryptocurrency and learn how to use it to place bets. The site, though, does block American users, so you need to find a way around that if you're in America and you want to use those. But the bottom line is, in here, for me, is the option to use these markets to predict outcomes of things like elections. So I think it's interesting to see. So this was interesting. So this is the vaping market. So I thought this was really strange. You've heard of, if you've been in crypto for a while, I think you've heard of STEPN, which was a move to earn. So you buy these cryptocurrencies in your app. The more you moved or exercised, you would earn tokens, basically. Now there's a vape to earn called Puffpaw. And it's a crypto project that rewards participants with magic space money if they switch from cigarettes to e-cigarettes. I don't know. That's kind of interesting. Again, not a big fan of vaping, but huge fan against cigarettes. We know the health consequences from those. So maybe not such a bad thing. Will it help people switch over? I don't know. Should people have the opportunity to do this if they want? Hell yeah, I think so. So I just thought that was kind of an interesting point there. All right, so moving on. All right, let's talk about Tether. So as you know, Tether is a stablecoin, which is pegged 1-to-1 to a fiat currency like the dollar, the euro. And Tether's been around for quite a while, and it's controlled by this British Virgin Island company, and it has a secretive crew of different owners. And its activities are largely hidden from governments. Okay, so this stablecoin has really proliferated. It's spread deep into the financial underworld, enabling a parallel economy that operates beyond the reach of U.S. law enforcement. They don't like that. Wherever the U.S. government has restricted access to dollar financial systems like Iran, Venezuela, Russia, Tether thieves as a sort of incognito dollar used to move money across these borders. Okay, Russian oligarchs, different drug dealers, cartels, they say, use this a lot. Yet, in dysfunctional economies such as Argentina and Turkey, beset by hyperinflation and a shortage of hard currency, Tether is also a lifeline for people who use it for ordinary payments as a way to protect their savings from this crazy inflation. Again, I think this needs to be an option. Do I like it that the bad guys are using it to do the bad things? No. Again, law enforcement needs to get better at tracking this down. Now, as we know, a transaction on the blockchain is transparent, meaning they can see who and where these transactions are going. But still, if it's swapped into applications like Tornado Cash, which mixes where they came from, that can be harder. And also the criminals are getting more savvy on how they move this money around, so it's getting harder. There are always going to be criminals that figuring out a way to beat the system, but authorities have to continue to get better and better, learn more about blockchain technology, because Stablecoins are here to stay. They are a massive increase in the technology, in the efficiency of moving money around. So Tether is arguably the first successful real-world product to emerge from the cryptocurrency revolution that began over a decade ago. It really is a very successful way to use cryptocurrencies and, or excuse me, blockchain technologies. So it's made a ton of money. Tether has $120 billion in assets, mostly risk-free treasury bills. So they take their profits they get, because every time you convert fiat currency into Tether, there's a fee. They take those fees, and they also take the amount of Tether they're holding and invest that into treasury funds, so that they're safe enough, right? The question is, how much treasury funds do they have? They don't necessarily, Tether, disclose exactly when you invest your fiat into Tether, where's that stored? Where is that coin stored? And they're saying most of it's in treasury bills, which they earn an interest on. So that's good for them. When you convert your fiat or any crypto into a stable coin, it's one for one, right? It's not going to rise in price. So it's a very popular method. You're going to see more and more companies want to use this, the efficiency of the blockchain network, to transfer funds or values back and forth. Again, this was the goal of Bitcoin in the early days, right? Bitcoin is going to be this really advanced, more efficient, more fair way of sending transactions back and forth. Well, as we know, Bitcoin now is more of a store of value than a transactionable currency. It could be used as that, but the price fluctuates so much, and the network is a little bit slow. So if you can convert your Bitcoin or any cryptocurrency or just fiat into these digital dollars, basically, and then move them efficiently back and forth using the blockchain, this is what Satoshi had basically wanted. The question is, are stablecoins the way to do it? So I just think that that's going to be looked in more deeply by all technologies and by governments. They got to figure this out, but I think it's a good move. Tether's basically generating $6.2 billion in profit, out-earning BlackRock, the world's largest asset manager. So this is interesting. This is the president or founder, chief executive officer, Paolo, and he is the CEO of Tether, and he's making some bucks. So Tether wants to build a fair, more connected, and accessible global financial system, like I was talking about, and I think it is doing that. With sanctions, Washington can cut adversaries off from the dollar, and thus much of the global trading system, since all dollars are transactions involve U.S. regulated banks. Tether subverts those powers. So when the U.S. government cut off funds, Russia's funds, they held U.S. dollars in U.S. banks, and the U.S. just decides, nope, we're going to confiscate that. And they weaponized the dollar. Whatever you think about Russia and the war and so on, that was a very costly mistake by the U.S. to weaponize the dollar, which isn't going to make anyone in the world want to continue to transact in dollars. Why would they do that? Doesn't make any sense to me. So Tether subverts this. So, of course, governments don't like this, but they better get on board, because like it or not, stablecoins is a valuable technology that will continue to proliferate, in my opinion. We do need regulatory framework that doesn't allow offshore dollar-backed stablecoin providers to play a different set of rules. This is Deputy Secretary Wally Edimaro. So I agree that regulators need to get on board. There needs to be some more regulation. Authorities need to figure out how to police this, but this is a technology that's going to be here. So a little bit about how Tether works. The company, Tether Holdings, issues these virtual coins to a select group of direct customers, mostly trading firms, who wire real-world dollars in exchange. Tether uses those dollars to purchase assets, mostly U.S. Treasuries, that back the coin's value. Okay, I guess Tether does work with large firms to convert into this Tether so they can move these assets back and forth. But you and I can use Tether. Anyone can use Tether. We can go to Coinbase and we can convert our fiat dollars and buy Tether, basically, which is dollar for dollar. Or we can swap our Ethereum or a Bitcoin into Tether and let it sit on the blockchain and not have to convert it to fiat. And then when we want to move it into, say, another crypto, we can swap that through these decentralized exchanges, which don't have high fees and they are decentralized. So stablecoins are a really efficient way to move crypto back and forth, and anybody can do it. It's very simple. You can swap into Tether or USDC, US stablecoin. So stablecoins are a really, really good technology. So I think they're going to be around for a while. This is interesting. This is like a little vending machine that you can get. You can buy Tether, or again, when I say buy Tether, you're really just converting your dollars into Tether, or you're converting your Bitcoin or whatever into Tether at a 1-to-1 ratio. So that means that it's not going to lose value. So it's more like a treasury, right? And you can move it around. All right. So again, the company says that, hey, look, law enforcement, you can track every transaction on the public blockchain, and we can seize or destroy Tether held in any illegal wallet. And they have done that. They have frozen accounts of people that have been doing illegal activity. So again, I think all stablecoins need to work with authorities just to get better and better at cracking down on the crime. All right, moving on here. All right, so this is interesting about Michael Saylor. As you may or may not know, Michael Saylor is the CEO of MicroStrategy, which is a company that basically has bet it all on Bitcoin. They were a software database technology company, and they decided years ago to basically buy as much Bitcoin and put it on their books as their reserve asset for their company. And they've bought so much of it that basically they're a proxy now for Bitcoin. If you don't want to actually buy Bitcoin yourself and hold it in self-custody, you can buy shares of stock in MicroStrategy. And the cool thing is MicroStrategy not only is moving up with Bitcoin as Bitcoin moves up over time, it's outperforming Bitcoin. So it's a really good investment as it stands now. So we'll see. So what he says is that he said that the right wing of the U.S. Republican Party is more progressive now than the left-wing Democratic Party on Bitcoin and crypto. Vice President and 2024 Democrat Party candidate Kamala Harris has released her policy positions, which don't mention Bitcoin or crypto at all. This is the big thing, that Trump is now the crypto president. He's vowed to be really friendly to crypto, maybe even use Bitcoin as a reserve asset that they will hold in the treasury. We'll see if that happens. So as I said before, in general, yeah, if Trump wins, I think crypto is going to go up a little bit. Harris wins, crypto might drop a little bit, but I don't think it's going to be a big deal. Either way, Bitcoin's going to do its thing. So there's no doubt that Republicans have taken a very pro-crypto stance. Saylor, who has turned his software company and founded the world's largest corporate holder of Bitcoin, owning just over 1% of the total Bitcoin supply. At this point, Republicans have shifted to the way progressive, and Democrats are drifting to the middle in terms of their view towards crypto and Bitcoin. So Saylor also expects Bitcoin price to rise to $13 million per coin over the next 2 decades. $13 million per coin. Woohoo! We'll see. That's his prediction. I like it. We'll see what you think. Put a comment in there. Do you think that, well, first of all, do you think that Bitcoin's going to get to 100,000 by the end of the year? Do you think it's going to get to 1 million anytime soon? Do you think that it's going to get to 13 million ever? I don't know. Interesting. What do you say? Put your comments in. Let me know. All right. Moving on. Bitcoin doesn't care about who the president is. And I already talked about that briefly. So, last week crypto was down a little bit after the election, after the debate when nobody mentioned anything about crypto, went down a little bit. It's gone back up. It's let's see what are we trading at now? 58 to 219. So crypto is Bitcoin has bounced back. Oh, this is another one on Michael Saylor. So look at this though. This is interesting. This is okay. Yeah, Bitcoin in yellow, and we've got Nvidia in purple here, and MicroStrategy in blue. And so look at MicroStrategy outperforming even Bitcoin and Nvidia. I mean, that's crazy. Nvidia has been up 913%, and MicroStrategy has been up, or excuse me, MicroStrategy 913%, Nvidia 859%. I don't know what it says here. So Bitcoin goes up about 44% a year. Still the best performing asset that we have here. Yeah, 44% each year. But Saylor is saying, and this is how he gets to that 13 million. He's saying, it's going to stay there. It's going to for a while, but it'll eventually be 40, then 35, then 30%, meaning Bitcoin's going to earn at least 30% a year for the foreseeable future. Can you find me another asset that's going to do that? Nvidia's not going to earn that, year over year. Bitcoin is the best asset performing out there. It's also the most robust network ever created. Folks, if you don't understand why Bitcoin is so valuable, why it could possibly go to 13 million, whether it becomes money or not, whether it's transactionable, the technology itself, the network itself is so robust, so technologically superior to anything that we've ever had about transferring data or certainly value from A to B. This is what people have to understand. And this is why guys like Michael Saylor, who's brilliant, by the way, if you've ever heard him talk, I mean, he's an MIT grad. The dude is brilliant. And if this guy is saying it, I think we should all listen. So here's some of these memes. Yeah. Some of the memes on Milk Road I don't really get. Let's see. Oh, okay. This is another good one. This is again, Republicans win, Bitcoin goes up. Democrats win, Bitcoin goes up. After the elections, we'll see how much it goes up, but it's going to go up. It's gone up in history. There's so many tailwinds. Yeah, short-term volatility surrounding the election. I think I've hit that home here. All right, Bitcoin tends to win either way. All right, let's see a little bit more about some of the fraud. So, yeah, it is interesting because even though the blockchain allows for all transactions to be viewable, and law enforcement has gotten a lot better about using tools and techniques to trace fraudulent activity across the blockchain on all different networks, certainly Bitcoin. It's ticked up. Fraud schemes have ticked up. 5.6 billion have been lost this year. It's a 45% increase from 2022 in fraud. And so they're even targeting ages 60 and older. Okay, so let me explain this though. What's happening here mostly is that these are fraudsters that are scheming people into them giving you cash or giving you crypto, right? So this really isn't a crypto issue. This is fraudsters who, through texts and emails and phone calls, get people, they fake them out. They get you to hand it over to them. They're not stealing it. Well, I mean, you can call it stealing, but basically you're giving it to them. And so, yeah, we're seeing this with crypto. And it's increasing because there's more adoption in crypto now than there was in 2022. So yeah, we're going to see an increase. So again, the media tends to paint this really bad picture of fraud and crime in crypto. It happens, but it's still happening more in fiat. It's just that as more users come into the crypto networks, you're going to get more dollar value of being stolen, being frauded out. So again, the issue here is be very careful. Always assume that anyone that texts you or calls you or emails you that you haven't asked them to, or you haven't explicitly, given them, or that you know them, do not engage. Every time I get an email or a text that says, "Oh, you've got a late bill," or "You have something happened to one of your accounts in somewhere," I never click on the link that they provide in the email or the text. Because I don't know, I go on to my application. I log in like I normally would. I log into my bank account or to my brokerage account or my crypto accounts. And then I look, is anything seem out of whack? Have I got a late payment? Has something missing? And almost 10 times out of 10, maybe 9 times out of 10, everything's fine. That was a phishing email. Don't click. That's just nothing else to say about that. All right, PayPal. So PayPal has really been moving into cryptocurrency. So they're really trying to become this super app on the crypto network, any kind of payments, anything. One of the things that they've done, so they've had the ability now where you can buy crypto on Venmo and PayPal. You can buy crypto, and you can send it back and forth to people if you want. And they, as you guys know, if you're in crypto, this big long, number here, that's a crypto address. Like I've talked about we all have a public keys for our wallets, and we hold our crypto, and you send this address and say, "Send me crypto." This is like sending a URL to somebody and saying, "Hey, check this out." So instead of doing that, you can now convert those into these simple forms, forms. So you could create one called coolguy69.eth. And so instead of sending it over to this big long address, you can just type in coolguy69.eth into the address that you're going to send crypto to, and it sends it to them, converts it into that big long number. Okay, I don't think that's that big a deal because for the most part, no one's typing in these long letters. You're always copying and pasting these numbers. And again, you have to be very careful to make sure that you're not copying the wrong address. And so in a way, I guess it's better because you don't have to copy and paste as much. So if you absolutely know that this is the address to your public wallet address, I guess it's maybe easier and maybe even safer, to tell you the truth. So now you can do this with your PayPal or Venmo. So you can, it's just making it easier to send crypto back and forth to people, which is a good thing. Now, PayPal also has their own stablecoin, PYUSD, and it's moving fast. Basically, it's got a $1 billion market cap, and this is actually on the Solana network, I believe. No, this is their circulating supply. So they are really, a lot of people are using PayPal as a stablecoin to send crypto back and forth. So on the Solana network, you can see that USDC, US dollar coin, still growing. It's still got the most market cap. But Tether is USDT. That's in green here. And look at PayPal. I haven't been around that long. And PYUSD is almost caught up to Tether as far as market cap. Or are these... I think this is usage, actually, that they're talking about here on just the Solana network. So, PayPal is trying to be all that. And I think they might just do it. And I'm glad that one of the leaders in traditional finance is looking, how can I use crypto to just capture more of the market? And I think PayPal is doing that. Basically, if you've got crypto and you've got, say you convert some of your crypto or even your dollars into PayPal stablecoins, you can use them to transact. You can just go to the store and put your phone down, and again, this just make crypto more of a transaction. And what I like about it is if I convert my dollars into crypto, into fiat, into a stablecoin, then I can use that as just like money, but I don't have to be in the fiat system. I can have it in my crypto system. I have it in my wallet, so no one can take it from me. So anytime I can get my fiat into crypto, it's a better thing. And now I can use it. Now, I don't know if all places do this, and certainly in America, if you can do this yet, actually pay at a merchant for this. But well, let's see, 10.9. Well, what they're talking about here is that they've got such a big user base. If they can convert just a percentage, small percentage of these into crypto users and use PayPal at checkout, I think it is going to further crypto. Let's see. They say their strongest move is yet to come. Yeah, in the U.S., it's murky. We haven't got good regulation yet, so I don't think you're able to actually use this at a merchant in the U.S., but other countries you are. And if you can store your fiat, if you can turn your fiat into PayPal stablecoins and then earn 5%, I mean, who's not going to opt for that? Because in a bank, it's earning less than 1%. So this is a really good move. I think that PayPal is going to do real good, and I think it's good for the crypto industry. So good on ya. All right, so last story here, we've got Bitcoin had its worst run in a year. Yeah, last week. So as I showed you, that it was a lot of red on the banter bubbles. So a lot of that was the mixed job data, and you got a little bit deflation in China and uncertainty over the election. So it's just up and down. And I think what we're going to see is Bitcoin and crypto just kind of fluctuate up and down here a little bit, go sideways, continue to consolidate, go a little bit down, a little bit up, like it's been doing for months now. And I think once we get past the election, we get these rate cuts. We're going to probably get a couple of rate cuts here before the end of the year. We're going to see more liquidity injected into the system. And that's the magic that makes Bitcoin rise. It makes all hard assets rise. Bitcoin being the best performing asset out there is going to rise more than the other ones. So again, just another word, get in to these assets now. Some other altcoins. Looks like altcoins had a pretty good week last week. You've got Avalanche, Chainlink, Uniswap, some of these other, and Solana. I think Solana is looking to do good. I think is more liquidity. So again, if you're an altcoin buyer, again, my feeling on this is that nothing wrong with altcoins as long as you don't go crazy with 20 or 30 of them. Most of them are not going to go anywhere. So other than Bitcoin, I've got some Solana. If you're a big Uniswap user in the DeFi world, you might want to put some funds in there. Avalanche is another good layer one protocol that it's got lots of users. Chainlink is another one that's pretty good. There's a few other good cryptos besides Bitcoin, Ethereum, and Solana that I would put a small portion in also. And we've been waiting. A lot of altcoins have not performed as good as some of the other cycles we've had before. We've been waiting for Bitcoin to kind of carry them up. Bitcoin's kind of goes up and then kind of flutters a little bit. So the whole market flutters a little bit too. So I think we're going to see really good information or we're going to see good price rises in the last couple of months here of the year. So that's my prediction. That's all the news for this week. Hope you guys have a good week. Remember, stay patient. Your keys. Make sure you got your keys. Make sure you write down your crypto keys. And we will see you next week. Bye for now.